Well, he keeps pushing it back, thinking it's not ready. But you can see him cooking. And it looks good. Not quite like what you remember, but good.
Excuse me. This is not the lobster you normally make, like, at all. It's not even close.
Well, yeah, you already know I don't have the same resources that I've worked with all these years.
I mean, that's true, but what about those guys? Didn't they, like, prepay for their meals? Why haven't they gotten their food yet?
I can't really tell you. I'm not in charge of delivering the product to the customer, just making sure it gets made.
Well, speaking of that, why did you delay the food so many times?
Playtesting.
So, I did it. I bought a copy of Mighty Number 9.
What do you mean, GrenademanBlitz? Didn't you back it?
Confession time. I did not. Calm down, calm down. I was super poor when the Kickstarter was going around. Trust me, I really wanted to donate to it. Although, at this point, for reasons other than the quality of the game, I'm kinda glad I didn't. But I have a copy of it, and I'm here to review it. It's my duty. As an avid Mega Man fan, this day was coming. But before I review it, I want to be perfectly clear with you all. This is just a review of the game, not the practices of the company and how their handling of pre-orders and Kickstarter bonuses was absolute crap. Not how other Kickstarters have come and gone with less money involved and had better practices. Not even how Inafune started up a second Kickstarter midway through Mighty Number 9's development. Not on how Inafune is not actually a game developer, but a producer. Just a review of the game, and how good it is. Or not. That's it. So, let's get ready and go. The game starts you off in the fantastic world of tomorrow. Oh wait, no, it's the current year. That's a bit underwhelming. If it's the current year, why the hell don't I have robot slaves yet? I don't want to do my own chores. That's what robots are for. Anyway, so it's 2016 and robots are cool. That's pretty much the intro. It drops you in the first level and Calamity is afoot. Okay, cool. There's some plot here and there for those who care. The controls aren't too bad once you get used to them, and all in all, it's a pretty solid start for a game. If I had to stop the review right here with just the intro as an expectation for the rest of the game, I'd say, yeah man, go out and play it. For 20 bucks, it's not bad at all. Unfortunately, we cannot stop here. We must go deeper, further, down into the abyss that is Mighty Number 9. I'd say that I'm painting this game in a really bad light, and honestly, after this intro level, the game kinda stagnates. I mean, there are definite points here or there where I was having a blast, but those points are juxtaposed by moments of pure frustration and what the fuck. One or two moments like that in a game isn't too much of a bad thing, but I found myself muttering, dude, what the fuck? At least once or twice a level, especially the level with Countershade. Then again, there were a lot of times where I was having a damn good time swapping weapons and kicking the shit out of bad guys. Gameplay-wise, I don't really feel like I need to get too deep into the mechanics. It's a run and gun platformer just like any other thing, except for one little feature. When an enemy gets low on health, you have to use a dash move to kill it. I shouldn't say have to because you technically can shoot an enemy till it dies, but if you dash when it changes color, you get a bonus. And these bonuses augment your abilities going forward in the level for a limited time, and they make Beck, our main hero, even stronger. So yeah, kinda cool. The dash mechanic is fairly solid, albeit there were a few times here or there where it got a bit out of hand and I dashed a bit too far. However, with some practice, you'll be able to keep it in check. I actually kind of enjoy this feature and it works fairly well when it works. It's extremely satisfying to dash through multiple enemies and get all the rewards at once. There is a bit of a risk-reward with this mechanic, as you're not invulnerable when you dash. I found myself quite a lot dashing through one enemy, thinking I'd hit 2 or 3 only be damaged by an oncoming attack. Now, this can be attributed to my own skill, and I'm definitely willing to accept that, but this kept happening throughout the entirety of the game, and I strongly feel like a good majority of these were just bad enemy placement, coupled with the fact that the dash is just too fun to use to storm through the levels. Think about it like Mega Man X. In those games, you have a dash function, but it's purely for movement. You're trained to position yourself, evade, move quicker, etc., while using this mechanic, so your brain understands that this is the move for movement only. Conversely, Mighty Number 9 treats it as an attack and movement option at the same time. You have to reprogram your game, if you come from Mega Man X, to think that every time you use it, it can be for either or. It's not too confusing, just frustrating when you have to react with it for a dodge, but that dodge move is counteracted with an attempt to absorb. I want to love this system, as it creates some interesting mechanics and possibilities for level design, but I feel like it's really flawed. And flaws seem to be an overarching setup with this game. Things like boss fights are underwhelming when you don't actually destroy or deactivate them, you save them. All that happens when you use your data drain move is that they're okay. It's just not satisfying. We're going to keep comparing the game to Mega Man, as of course I think is appropriate. After all, the game design is extremely similar. So when you beat a boss, you do a little move here and that's it. The fights themselves are pretty fun, and a couple of them are actually kind of thought-provoking. But to have all that build-up for something so mundane, it's like when you're watching porn, and you're getting into doing your thing, and all of a sudden they stop and have a casual conversation. It's like,
what happened?
Oppose that with Mega Man X, where you kill a boss, you're treated to an extremely satisfying, albeit long, explosion sequence which punctuates the fact that you've beat them. Now isn't that nice? I'm not saying the bosses need to explode, especially considering the circumstances to the story, but when they just kind of stand there, it's not really satisfying.
Well, what would you have done, GrenademanBlitz?
I don't know. Maybe have Beck absorb their entire body and to save their core or something. Take that core back to the lab, have them set up a new body for the robots. That way, when Beck absorbs their body, it can be an alternate explanation as to how he gets the weapon. Something like that. Something more satisfying than... You get my point. The weapons? Well, some of them are cool. Some of them are meh. Once I got the sword ability, I pretty much used that exclusively, aside from Battalion's weapon once I found out the energy recharges because fuck yes, explosions. The weapons do have different uses, which I can appreciate, and some are actually kind of interesting to use. Take for example Dynatron's weapon. It shoots out 5 spikes that once lodged into an enemy consistently shock him. If you hit it with all 5, holy shit, what an electrifying experience. This leaves you free to move and dodge accordingly. Or what about Pyrogen? A burst of fire from your body that you have to charge up over time to use does seem kind of limited, but that in conjunction with the dash move can really open you up for some interesting moves. I've seen some reviews talking about how the weapons feel lifted straight from Mega Man, but I pose this question. How many different types of weapons are viable in a 2D side-scroller? One that attacks forward, one that locks onto an enemy and explodes, one that makes you hover, etc., etc. It's not so much of a matter of them being lifted from Mega Man, but just generally being cliches of the genre. But this game at least tried to make a few of them fresh in its interpretation. You know, at least this game tried. The story of the game is meh. I mean, it's there if you want it, but don't go looking for it. If the story comes to you, then let it, I guess. I mean, it's fun, and there were a couple of twists that I didn't see coming, but sometimes the story feels like they hint and allude at different ideas and circumstances that could come from it, but nothing ever does. Hell, the ending of the game takes it from a decently lighthearted with some tension experience to something questioning the nature of ethics and man in progress. Did not expect that. My overall thought with Mighty No. 9? I want a sequel. Now hear me out, please. The first Mega Man game, while being very solid, is riddled with issues, difficulty spikes, and silly level programming that are just plain unfair at times. This may be attributed to the fact that when it was designed, it was to be a quarter eater at arcades, but the design is still there. And you know what? The team behind it, which of course Inafune and some other members of Mighty No. 9's team consisted of, took what they learned with the original Mega Man and applied it to the sequel. It may be a bit of wishful thinking, but I bet they could take what they learned worked and didn't work with this game and apply it to the next one to make it better. You know, provides it sells more than 10 copies. Mighty No. 9 is not perfect. It's not great, but it's not terrible. It's not abysmal in any way either. It's just flawed. And like a lot of flawed games, it definitely has its moments that could have been polished out. Again, this is just a review of the game itself, and you know what? For the most part, the fond memories of the game outweigh the negatives, but the negatives are still very much there. Can I recommend it for $20? Sadly, I can't say that I can. Wait for a sale, get it for free, something like that. Fun fact, did you know that even though he's credited as the father of Mega Man, Keiji Inafune did not create the Blue Bomber? Nope, he actually simply designed the character art for the game and the pixel art. The actual father of Mega Man is Akira Kitamura. The more you know. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. I have plans for a future video regarding the rise and fall of this game's development and release, so stay tuned for that. If you want that to happen, leave a like on this video letting me know, hey, you know what? I'm interested in Mighty No. 9. Tell me, GrenademanBlitz, what the fuck happened? If the demand is strong, I may release it sooner or later. Or rather, sooner than later. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to let me know by leaving a like, or a dislike if you didn't. If you're hungry for more of my nonsense, here's a couple more videos of mine that may pique your interest. Hey, you want to stay up to date with the channel? Then click that subscribe button for the latest videos, or follow me on Twitter, or Professor Toast Gaming's Facebook. You want some more awesome video game content? You know, because you're a lonely anime fan on prom night and you have nothing better to do than watch videos about video games, then go on over to limitedlives.com. These guys put a lot of love and passion in their videos, and I've met a lot of cool people doing it. You want to see me play ridiculous golf with Crafty Matt and a few other people? Click on this video right here. With that being said, guys, I'll see you in the next video. And remember, video games are the best video games. Later!